Welcome to today's explainer. All right, I want you to do me a favor and close your eyes for just a quick second. Picture a midnight bus ride in Rajasthan, back in 2016. You're trapped out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by this pitch black, completely deserted landscape. Now, let me ask you a seriously unsettling question right off the bat. Have you ever picked up a passenger who was already dead? Today, we're following Mahesh. He was a conductor for a government night bus, and he actually lived through this exact nightmare. So, here's how this creeping nightmare actually unfolds. The shift starts at 11:45 p.m. Mahesh and his driver depart from Jaipur, heading toward a distant town with just a handful of sleeping passengers. The roads are, frankly, completely desolate. By midnight, their nearly empty bus rolls up to a pitch-black, incredibly lonely highway stop. And by 12:30 a.m., well, that's when the temperature suddenly drops. Right outside, in the freezing, relentless rain, there's a lone man waiting. He's wearing an old black coat, clutching a weathered leather bag, and his head is just deeply bowed. He's standing perfectly, almost unnaturally still, right in the middle of this violent storm. The man slowly, quietly boards the bus. Mahesh walks up to him and naturally asks, "Where do you want to go?" And without even looking up, the man replies, "Where this bus stops for the last time." And his voice, it echoed, almost like it was coming from the bottom of a deep well. Now, you know how it is in hindsight, right? Mahesh completely missed some absolutely glaring warning signs here. That unnatural, hollow voice. The fact that the guy's hands were as cold as solid ice when he took his ticket. And the way he just sat in the very back, rigid, unblinking, literally like a frozen statue. Something was deeply, deeply wrong. About half an hour rolls by, and Mahesh heads to the back to check on the passengers. But the man in the black coat? He's completely gone. Mahesh searches everywhere, the washroom, under the seats, you name it. Nothing. Panicking, he runs up to the front and asks the driver. But the driver just laughs at him. He says, "What, man? Mahesh? The bus doors never even opened. No one got on." Hearing that, Mahesh just freezes. And then, tap. From the very back of this supposedly completely empty bus comes a single, deliberate footstep. Tap, tap, whatever this invisible entity is, it's starting to move forward down the aisle. Just these heavy, wet footsteps approaching in the pitch dark. Tap, tap, tap. The footsteps stop right behind our absolutely terrified conductor. Mahesh is breathless, he's frantic. He can literally feel something unseen breathing right down his neck in that narrow little aisle. Then, suddenly, the ticket machine in Mahesh's trembling hand just whirs to life all by itself. It starts printing. Destination, Mritu Ghat, the Valley of Death. Fare, 0 rupees. Passenger, 1. It is literally printing a ticket to the grave. And right after that, boom, total darkness. Every single light on the bus violently cuts out, plunging the entire vehicle into absolute blackness. The only thing they can see are these sudden, jagged flashes of lightning from the storm outside. In one blinding flash of lightning, Mahesh looks back at the seat. And the passenger, it isn't human anymore. It has burnt, charred skin, hollow black holes where its eyes should be, and this twisted, terrifying smile illuminated by the storm. The temperature inside the bus immediately plummets to absolute 0. This horrific, icy winter wind is somehow howling right through the enclosed aisle as the burnt entity slowly stands up and starts walking directly toward Mahesh. Completely paralyzed with fear, Mahesh scrambles for his only weapon. With a desperate, wildly trembling voice, he starts frantically chanting the Hanuman Chalisa as this terrifying creature closes in. But you know what? The chanting actually works. The entity stops dead in its tracks. It tilts its twisted head, lets out this deep, demonic chuckle, and then just vanishes into thin air, right as the bus lights snap violently back on. Okay, so let's fast forward to the morning after and uncover this decade-old secret. Shaken to his absolute core, Mahesh somehow manages to survive the rest of the night shift. As soon as the sun comes up, he and the driver immediately go looking for answers in the very next town. They find a village elder and tell him exactly what happened out on that highway. The old man's face goes completely pale, and he asks them one chilling question. Did he wear a black coat? And that is when the horrific reality sets in. They learn that exactly 10 years prior, on that exact same lonely stretch of road, there was a tragic, fiery bus crash. A government employee, a man who, you guessed it, always wore an old black coat, died in the wreckage. He is forever waiting for his final journey. The locals explain that this burnt spirit is basically doomed. He's cursed to wait at that pitch-black stop every single rainy night, endlessly looking for a bus to finally take him to the afterlife. So, I'm going to leave you with this to think about. If you are ever driving down a dark, rainy road at midnight and you spot a perfectly still figure just waiting in the freezing wind, will you stop? Because as we've learned today, not every passenger actually needs to be alive to reach their destination.